Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a huge puzzle in the business world. Why do so many brilliant strategies just fizzle out? We're going to explore how middle managers can be the secret ingredient to turning that high-level vision into real-world results.
Okay, let's just jump right in. You've seen this happen, right? Leadership rolls out this big, ambitious new strategy. Everyone's excited, but then, well, on the ground, nothing really changes. A few months go by, and the results just aren't there. So what gives? Why is this such a common story?
It really boils down to this one thing: a massive gap. It's like a game of telephone, where the big picture vision gets completely lost in translation by the time it reaches the people actually doing the work. And the result? You get wasted effort, missed targets, and a brilliant strategy that's really just a document living on a server somewhere. But what if I told you there's a powerful system designed to fix exactly this problem? It's called Hoshin Kanri, and it completely rethinks the role of mid-level leaders. It sees them not just as managers, but as something way more dynamic.
And this quote right here, it just nails the change in thinking you need. It's about moving away from a culture of excuses. We don't have enough budget or enough people, and moving toward a culture of pure resourcefulness. It's about seeing those limits not as walls, but as puzzles to be solved.
So, here's the big idea. Picture a middle manager as a traffic controller at a super busy intersection. Their most important job isn't just shouting orders. No, it's managing a two-way flow of information. You've got expectations coming down from the top, and you've got critical, real-world feedback coming up from the front line. That two-way sheet, it's the absolute lifeblood of a company that's actually aligned.
And wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got that smooth north-south traffic. That's what we want. That's alignment. Goals flow down, feedback flows up, everybody's moving in the same direction. But on the right, oh boy, that's the chaos of east-west traffic. That's departments blaming each other, fighting over who's supposed to do what, and creating a total gridlock where nothing gets done. The manager's job is to be that traffic cop and keep everything flowing north-south.
So, how in the world do you build that smooth north-south flow? Well, it all starts with a really structured and transparent planning phase. This is the P in the famous plan, do, check, act cycle.
It all kicks off at the very top. The Hoshin Declaration is basically the why. It's the North Star for the entire company. And then you've got the Master Action Plan, which is the how. It's a clear, visible roadmap that shows exactly who is doing what to get there. No ambiguity. And listen, this is so much more than just corporate paperwork. By making these plans public, leadership is putting their money where their mouth is. It's proof of their commitment. It shows they're serious, and that consistency is absolutely essential for building trust and getting everyone else on board. Okay, so once you have these big goals, you don't just throw them over the wall. They're cascaded down through a process called catchball. And it's exactly what it sounds like, a back-and-forth conversation at every single level to make sure the goals are both realistic and still a bit of a stretch. This isn't about top-down dictating, it's about building real agreement and ownership. Think of your organization like this chain. The CEO doesn't need to be micromanaging the frontline worker. They don't have to. As long as every single link in that management chain is strong, connected by that catchball process, the strategy will hold together perfectly from the top all the way to the bottom. Okay, so the plan is in place. Every link is connected. Now let's talk about the engine that actually drives this whole thing forward. We're entering the really powerful cycle of do, check, and act.
First up is do. This is where the rubber meets the road. Each team at every level gets to work on their specific piece of the plan, the very goals they helped set and agreed to during that whole catchball process. And what's really fascinating here is how the pace of everything gets faster as you move down the company. Top leadership is thinking in yearly cycles. But by the time you get to the frontline teams, that cycle is crunched down to a daily or even hourly basis. This creates incredible focus and agility where it matters most. Next up is check. And this is not about burying progress reports in some spreadsheet nobody ever reads. No, the idea here is all about radical transparency. You make performance visible to everyone. This creates a shared sense of awareness and, just as important, collective accountability.
And they use super simple, really powerful visual tools to do it. A board like this one tells you everything you need to know in a single glance. Green means you're good to go, yellow is a heads up, something needs attention, and red signals a problem that needs to be tackled, like right now. It's so simple, anyone can get it.
And finally, we get to the act phase.
This, my friends, is where the real learning happens. Based on what you saw in the check phase, teams get together to reflect on what worked, what didn't, and then they make smart adjustments for the next cycle.
A really cool cultural tool here is a concept called Hansei. It's basically a structured way to reflect that has nothing to do with blame. It's about being honest enough to say, hey, we fell short here, taking personal responsibility for it, and then committing to a real plan to do better next time.
And what about when things go right? Well, the learning doesn't stop there either. Through a process called Yoko-ten, leadership makes sure that when one team figures out a better way to do something, that brilliant idea gets shared sideways across the company so everyone gets to level up.
Okay, let's zoom out and bring this all together. What's the ultimate result? What happens when you actually put this entire system into practice?
Well, you can see how this system directly attacks that problem we started with. It forges an unbreakable chain from the boardroom strategy all the way down to daily actions. It empowers everybody with clear goals and a real voice. It builds a culture that's always learning and improving. And maybe most importantly, it gets rid of all that chaotic East-West conflict by focusing everyone's energy on those shared North-South goals.
And that really brings us to the final question for you to think about. Take a hard look at your own organization. Are your managers acting like skilled traffic controllers, making sure goals flow down and feedback flows up, nice and smooth? Or is your company's grand strategy just sitting there, stuck in a massive traffic jam of miscommunication, friction between departments, and a total disconnect from reality? The answer might just show you the road ahead.